Hello student, welcome back. We are going to start today's session. It is lecture 2, module 4, and it is the continuation of the previous lecture, and we are in the art segment, satellite communication, MECE 106A, Sangita Roy, Assistant Professor, Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, Narula Institute of Technology. So, we are basically concentrating our topic in the ArtStation technology. In the previous section, we have completed the power section as well as antenna section. So, we have seen this was a block diagram that was described in the earlier days. Antenna subsystem. This is the VSAT system. Different antenna radiation pattern for 6.4 gigahertz and 14.11 gigahertz. Depending on that, diameter of the antenna for ArtStation will be, and the different noise temperature that affect different type of horn antenna, array antenna, printed array antenna, waveguide slot array antenna, phase array antenna, active phase array antenna, all we have discussed in the earlier days. Today we will start our topic from low noise amplifiers. So, the receiver subsystem of an ArtStation always includes a preamplifier with low intrinsic noise, usually referred to as low noise amplifier LNA. Keeping in mind that 0.1 dB feeder loss adds about 7K to the total receiver noise temperature. This low noise amplifier must be connected to the antenna feed receive port by a very low loss RF link. In practice, the LNA is either directly attached to the feed port in case of a small or medium antennas or connected through a low loss waveguide. Now, why low noise amplifier? That should be detailed. As we know in our electronics background that amplifier always amplify a low signal to a corresponding high power signal, but at the same time of this amplification of signal due to the non-linearity behavior in the semiconductor or the associated circuit parameters are there, they influences so that not only the signal amplifies but also it picks up from the surrounding some noises, some inherent, some associated noise that is inserted in the signal, and that also amplified at the time of amplification of the signal. This creates the main problem. So, this noise should be kept as low as possible. This is the main purpose of low noise amplifier, because noise is taking lot of power as well as it disturbs the main information to be processed. This is the total noise temperature is given by the following equation, As we have already studied in the previous lectures, that noise temperature is one of the criteria that governs this total noise in the circuit. So total noise temperature is given by T1 plus T2 by G1, gain T3 and so on. Thermoelectric cooling. Thermoelectric cooling by Peltier effect diodes provides a simple and efficient solution for refrigerating the LNA sensitive components to about minus 50 degrees Celsius. Such cooling is sufficient to obtain LNA noise temperature as low as TE is equal to 28 Kelvin at 4 GHz and 60 Kelvin at 11-12 GHz. Since the thermoelectric cooling devices do not include any moving parts, and since they can fit it directly to the LNA, this solution combines high performance with sturdiness and good maintainability. Cryogenic cooling using gaseous helium is now being abandoned in modern stations because of its complexity, bulkiness and high cost. Temperature compensation. When the moderate noise performance is acceptable, thermoelectric cooling can be avoided and replaced by simpler control system allowing operation with stable performance in the normal range of ambient temperature. One important advantage of such systems is that problem related to gas leaks and simplified, which improves reliability. FET low noise amplifiers. Bipolar transistor exhibit complex noise like short noise etc. mechanism and give relatively poor noise temperature performance at high frequencies, above 1 GHz. By contrast, noise in field effect transistors is mostly thermal and can be reduced by proper choice of semiconductor material and by using micron and submicron fabrication technologies for semiconductor layer processing and for electro etching. In recent years, substantial progress has been made in gallium arsenic field effect transistor FET for microwave low noise applications. Noise temperatures which could previously be obtained only with parametric amplifiers is now available with gallium arsenide FETs as considerable reduced overall size and cost. So this is a basic idea, the configuration. We know from basic electronics this structure. The mostly thermal character of FET noise makes it possible to reduce the amplifier noise temperature by lowering its physical temperature. With thermoelectric cooling, noise temperatures of about 28 Kelvin at 4 GHz and 60 Kelvin at 11-12 GHz are achievable. Uncooled current performance is about 30 to 50 Kelvin at 4 GHz, 70 to 150 Kelvin at 11-12 GHz, 180 to 250 Kelvin at 20 GHz. Summary of the present characteristics of low noise amplifiers. So, FET noise temperature is 28, uncooled FET amplifier 30 to 50. It is for 4 GHz band. For frequency bandwidth for a FET amplifier 500 to 800, uncooled FET amplifier 500 to 800. Gain in dB 60 for 6 stages and uncooled FET also 60 for 6 stages. Saturation point power in dB meter, it is plus 10 for 6 stages and it is also plus 10 for 6 stages. Typical noise temperature of current FET LNAs, thermocooling, uncooled 28 and 3250 correspondingly for 37 to 42 GHz. For 11.7 to 12.2, thermocooling is 60 to 70, uncooled 70 to 150. For 17.7 to 19.5 GHz, it is uncooled 180 to 250 noise temperature. Low noise converters. Recent low noise amplifiers and down converters are usually integrated into low noise converters. The low noise converter is completely housed in a single package. This permits simple installation with antennas. A KU-band low noise converter unit consisting of 11-12 GHz gallium arsenide FET low noise amplifier and a block down converter is converted into this section. The low noise converter converts the satellite signal from 11-12 GHz band to 1 GHz band as is normally mounted on the antenna. So this converter is required because those high frequency in the 11-12 GHz or high cannot be directly processed to the circuitry. Now 11-12 GHz band low noise amplifier consists of low noise gallium arsenide FETs. The low noise temperature of the LNA is 80 to 180 Kelvin depending on the earth station GT ratio. Hybrid technology also used. Now the simple installation. The low noise converter is completely housed in a single package. This permits it to install within a very small and compact space. Now this is the block diagram of low noise amplifiers. It is shown over there. This is the input. This is the low noise amplifier. This is the multiplexer. This is intermodulate frequency amplifier. This is the output, and obviously there should be some feedback, and it is coming to voltage control oscillator, and there is also alarm is provided over there, and this is the output. This is nothing but a feedback mechanism. From the point of view of electronics engineering, we know that why we did this feedback mechanism to stable this portion so that output should be stable. And this is the alarm circuit. We are not going in detail voltage control oscillator and everything. It is the circuitry part, what in the basic electronics and everything we have already studied. So the power amplifiers. So the microwave tubes general operation. Klystron already we have in the earlier class also demonstrated about what is Klystron amplifier. This is the structure of the Klystron amplifier. In the microwave also you have studied this one, not in detail we are going to discuss. So this is the construction of the Klystron amplifier. This is the window, electromagnetic coils are there in the both sides. This is the RF input, this is the electron beam, this is the cavity, this is the anode, and this is the electron gun, and it is the collector, and from here output, RF output will be taken away through this window. So Klystron in 6 GHz, 14 GHz and 13 GHz bands. Klystron in 6, 14, 30 GHz band is shown over there. So tuning range is 5.9 to 9.6.425 GHz. Corresponding output power is this one, 150, 400, 750, 1000, 1500 and so on. And this is the corresponding gain, 150 corresponding 50, and corresponding instantaneous bandwidth is 23 megahertz, very large, and C 14,000 is corresponding gain is 52 and corresponding bandwidth is 70 megahertz, very high. For 14.5 gigahertz range, corresponding 1500 is the output power, gain is 40, corresponding bandwidth is 100 megahertz, and so on. This is the list you can find clearly. And corresponding 27 to 5.30, this is 350 output power in watt, corresponding gain is 40 and instantaneous bandwidth is 100 megahertz. TWT, traveling wave tube, already we discussed, we are not going in detail. Explanation before, there are two main types of high power amplifier HPA which are used in Earth's terminals for satellite communication. Those using a broadband traveling wave tube TWT with a bandwidth of 500 MHz or more. Those much simpler using a klystron with a bandwidth of 40 to 80 MHz, tunable in the 500 to 600 MHz for frequency band occupied by the satellite transponders. The following section gives the essential features to be taken into account for the design of HPAs. This is the corresponding power supply, not in detail. The types of high power voltage supply. Each of the above mentioned high voltages can be provided in two different ways. The usual is to obtain the high voltage directly from the AC main line through a conventional power supply chain of transformer, rectifier and filtering components. Another way is to obtain low DC voltage from 300 to 600 volt from a chain similar to the previous one with only rough filtering, and then use DC to DC converter to provide the required high voltage. This converter employs a solid state switching device working at a frequency of 1 to several tens of kilohertz. The advantage are the reduced size and weight of transformer and filtering components, also reduce energy stored in the filtering capacitors. On the other hand, it is necessary to prevent noise effects at the switching frequency and its harmonics. Tube protection. Helix current protection is essential for high power TWTs and is usually provided in the form of a relay which removes helix voltage in the event of high helix current. Body current protection in the form of a relay should also be provided for the klystron. All high power air-cooled TWTs and klystrons are protected from loss of sufficient cooling by an integral thermal switch. While liquid cooling is employed, care must be taken to ensure the purity of the coolant. Arc detectors are recommended at power levels of 1 kilowatt and above. The time response of the detection circuit should be about 15 milliseconds. The heater must be at its operating condition prior to applying beam voltage. Up to 5 minute delay may be necessary. Driver amplifier or pre-amplifier. Driver amplifier is usually required to increase the output level of the modulating chain of the transmitter up to input level of high power TWT or klystron amplifier. The driver amplifier should be operated under conditions such that the intermodulation occurs mainly in the HPA itself. So far, the preamplifiers have used a TWT with a saturation output level of a few watts. Solid state preamplifiers are now available at 6 GHz, 14 GHz and up to 18 GHz should preferably be used. The noise figure of the preamplifier must be as low as possible. Some typical values are 6 GHz, noise figure 6 dB and intercept point about 29 dB, operating level of 18 dB. For 14 GHz, corresponding is 8 dB, 23 dBm and operating is 12 dBm. Logic unit. The logic unit, also known as the control, monitoring and protection logic system, provides the interface between the amplifier and its power supplies and protection circuits and the control, display and alarm circuits. In addition to providing local control, the control unit may include facilities for allowing remote control from centralized monitoring and control system of the station. The logic performs the following function: placing the amplifier in the required state, display of the state, continuous monitoring of amplifier. The logic system is fed with the following inputs: the control commands, the alarm commands from the previous amplifier circuit. The logic unit processes these various signals and supplies command in the form of insulated loops. When high speed is required, transistor instead of relays are used. When an alarm appears, it should store and display the logic system control the switching off of various amplifiers functions. Solid state power amplifiers. Solid state power amplifiers are now being used in small earth station. In fact, solid state amplifiers with gallium arsenide fed are capable of producing output in excess of 100 watt at C band and 20 watt at Ke band. Even more is possible. Impact diode amplifiers with high power have also been proposed, and lot of researches are going on in this field. They also exhibit good linearity performance, often better than microwave tube, and they are portable, easy to handle. The maximum output power of solid state amplifier is usually specific at 1 dB compression point. Power IP at power point where the extrapolated linear 1 carrier output power is equal to extrapolated 2 carrier intermodulation power. The amplifier intermodulation characteristics is showing over there. Now going to the details of this little bit of intermodulation, why it is intermodulation is so important. Because all the circuits we are familiar in electronics, they have nonlinear properties, especially diodes, transistors. Due to these nonlinear properties, the different frequency, the carrier as well as some harmonics, subharmonics, also higher harmonics also produced. And when they are processing, all those harmonics are also as well as processing. So these are created intermodulation effect, and they are also sometimes of noise creating, and sometimes main signal is deteriorated completely. So some point is there where this performance is good, and some points are there over which or below which it should not be operated, so that our desired performance may be hampered. General performance for HPS. It is a very long subject, so it is sometimes within a short period it is difficult to give the total idea of the subject. The principal performance requirements for the transmitter of an earth station include frequency amplifier characteristics, intermodulation, delay distortion. All these are the hindrance which is giving at the time of performance of the signal. For these characteristics, the HPA play dominant role, although it is possible to equalize the amplitude and delay distortion in the IF amplifier stage. Now, IF amplifier stage is the stage where the very high frequency is converted down to a frequency that is tackleable in the electronic circuit. So, IF circuit, when the signal is coming, there is lot of distortion that may hamper the desired performance of the circuit. So the typical harmonic generation in the microwave tubes are showing over there. For Klystron, order of harmonic is second and third, means multiple of the carrier. These are the frequencies. So saturation is minus 30 and corresponding minus 40, and 5 dB back off, it is minus 35 to minus 50. And helix TW2 second and third harmonic, that is in the range of minus 10, minus 20, minus 15 to minus 30. Coupled cavity TWT second to third harmonic, minus 20 to minus 30, minus 25 to minus 40. Nonlinearity effects in power amplifiers. Nonlinearity in power amplifier causes such effects and intermodulation AM-PM conversion. These effects can cause into two types of impairment: interference, carrier to signal degradation. We all know who are electronics engineering background, we know clearly about this. Carrier to noise ratio should be as high as possible so that noise can be taken away very easily. Otherwise, lot of problems will be there, and intermodulation also I have told you just earlier, because these are the interference, that is high frequency is characterized by. This section gives some detail of nonlinear effects of FDMA transmission, and in case of digital transmission, especially TDMA. So FDMA is frequency division multiple access time, and TDMA is time division multiple access. So it is different kind of modulation, and their advantage, disadvantages, that is showing over there. So coupling system and combiners, three types of coupling systems can be used for connecting the outputs of several transmit chains to the signal input port of the antennas, and they are post-power amplification coupling system, pre-power amplification, and mixed coupling system. So one carrier transmit chain with redundancy is showing over there. It is the baseband input signal, it is the modulation, and it is the up converting, and this is the high power amplifier, and then it is going to the antenna. This is the total system it is describing over there, because this baseband is obviously in the low frequency side, and when it is in the range of gigahertz, 12 to 10, 12, 40, and the high frequency, but whenever it is in the range of kilohertz or maybe in the megahertz. So there should be some important step, slow by slow, the frequency will be going higher and higher, and it will go to the output. Post high frequency amplification coupling system. This is the circuit diagram. Here, instead of one channel, it is different channels are showing over there, and corresponding modulation, up converter, high power amplifiers. Means it is, earlier it was one signal, here it is multiplexing and going to the output. So adjustable radio combiner. So there are two inputs. It is the coupler, phase shifter, so that different channels can be passed by changing the phase shifting module. Maybe CDMA, FDMA may be there, depending on how the modulation is carried over there. And again 3D coupler, it is going to the output port. It is totally inherently, there are a lot of mechanisms are there, but it is only giving the idea of block diagram. So filter, this is a different filter combination, it is showing over there. This is the input port, this is the coupler, this is the filter, 3 dB coupler, this is the output port, and this is the, it is going to the antenna. It is different bands are showing, so we know details how the response is. If it is operated in this portion, it will be good, but if the signal is in this portion, it will be intermodulation effect will be there. Therefore, restriction should be over the bandwidth, how much is in the bandwidth the signal is transmitted. So this is another module over showing different modules, and it is very complicated. Earlier the simple step by step, we are going to the complicated module, and corresponding how the frequency it is showing, it is going there, lot of losses will be necessary over there. So power, pre-high power amplification coupling system. In pre-HPA system, the various RF transmit carrier are amplified in a common wideband amplifier. The main pre-HPA coupling features are due to the simultaneous transmission of multiple carriers. The HPA must be oversized. Pre-HPA coupling provides operators with good flexibility for implementing changes. Mixed coupling system, mixed transmit sub-assembly configures employ both post-HPA and pre-HPA. because it will take the good effect of both the system. Comparison, it is showing post HPA and pre HPA. This is hybrid, this is filtering. Advantage, full power of HPA. It is narrow band channels, good operating flexibility, low intrinsic losses and corresponding high intrinsic losses. And for this one, it is rather low operational flexibility, possible forbidden frequency bands, thermal dissipation problem. These are the disadvantage. Now pre-HPA, the combiner is low power combiner, that is, it is a hybrid model, and advantage is no combiner losses, good operational flexibility, one single HPA, and disadvantage is HPA to be operated with sufficient backup, high cost of TWT, and HPS is associated with this. Now, the communication equipment, generalities and analog modules of that. Communication equipment, general block diagram of earth station comprises of the functional units which convert the baseband signal into a modulated RF carrier. The baseband signal is in the range of 300 Hz to 3.4 kHz analog signal. The transmit side is to provide pre-emphasis of RF signal to convert the baseband signal into FF modulated signal, to filter the IF signal, to convert the IF signal into RF signal, to switch off and combine the RF signal and send to the through antenna. Now the receiver side, to separate the and switch RF signal, to convert the RF signal into a IF intermediate frequency down converter, to the filter of the IF signal to demodulate the IF signal into baseband signal, to remove emphasis, pre-emphasis and de-emphasis and energy dissipation from the circuit. The frequency converters. The frequency converter, up converter translate the IF frequency to the RF converter, and for the down converter, RF frequency to the lower frequency converts. An RF filter, one mixer, one local or one or two, depending on how you are converting the signal, one or two local oscillator, IF filters, group delay equalizer. Now the bandwidth. Three bandwidth have to be considered: RF bandwidth, IF total bandwidth, and the instantaneous bandwidth is to be considered, and corresponding the circuit design should be care of. Now the frequency agility. The frequency and channel capacity plan is often altered as the traffic through the satellite is changed and increased. And corresponding FDM FM carriers, how their channels is divided is showing. For 1.25 megahertz, the number of channel is 12. For 2.5 megahertz bandwidth, it is 24, 36, 48, 60 or 72 channel may be accommodated, and so on. It is showing the chart, and if the bandwidth is 36, then 792 to 972 number of channels can be accommodated. Now the equalizer, the amplitude and frequency, response and group delay of the transmit and receive section of the earth section are equalized in this module. Now the linearity. In SCPC system, a number of carriers are frequency converted by one up converter or one down converter, and intermodulation between the carriers can occur. Now carrier frequency tolerance. The frequency tolerance for the transmission of FDMA FM carrier is specified from plus minus 40 kHz to plus minus 150 kHz. Single and double frequency conversion. It is a very simple, rugged and economical equipment, but in order to change the frequency in the operation of the RF band, it is necessary both to tune the local oscillator RF frequency and to mechanically adjust the narrowband microwave and the up converter. The IF signal is mixed with the local frequency which is about 70 megahertz lower than the output signal and convert to the required RF signal. So this is its block diagram. This is the RF 4 gigahertz, then divider, then it is a mixer. It is mixing over there with the local oscillator and corresponding to a down frequency, intermodulated frequency, and different mechanisms are showing over there. This is the local oscillator. We know this is the theory from the basic electronics we have studied earlier in the graduate level. This is the FDM FM equipment, IF filtering and equalization, and this is the corresponding detailed circuitry over there. This is the multiplex service channel, 60 gigahertz pilot carrier over there. Automatic gain control is there, pre-emphasis, then low pass filtering, variable attenuator, then varicap diode, then intermediate frequency bandpass filtering to 70 megahertz intermediate frequency. This is the transmit baseband equipment. This is the FM modulator. And it is for the same thing for the reverse for the receiving section. So it is the FM demodulator, receive baseband equipment. We know pre-emphasis, de-emphasis because these are all due to the nonlinearity effect of any circuitry for communication. FDM FM with companding. Companding we know to compensate the non-linear effect of amplification. Due to this companding, the signal, the lower frequency component and higher frequency component, the amplification is moderated so that uniformity should be maintained. So this is the circuit diagram of SCPC, detailed circuit diagram. So this is the voice channel and corresponding different controllable attenuators are there. There are a lot of multiplexer circuits are there, check-in points, auxiliary input, receiver echo suppression control. Echo is another, means haloing effect is there that should be controlled by some channel effects are there. Then intermediate frequency level modulator there. Then IF signal output will be coming over there. It is a digital circuitry you have to learn. FM television equipment, that is the one of the very important modern days. Total in the satellite communication is merged with our commercial communication also. So TV transmission is one of the very important, that is also merged over this, and some typical characteristics of TV application in satellite is earth station is associated with, and that is given by over there. So the main parameter now the audio program transmission. For the satellite transmission of a TV program, the video signal must be associated with at least one high quality audio channel and possibly with other signals such as second high quality audio channel, commentary channel, other WAD channel, Q, coordinating and signaling channels and data transmission channels. So it is quite clear, lot of information has to be passed through the system. Two methods can be used for the transmission of the associated channels. Transmission on one separate RF carrier or transmission of a single RF carrier by multiplexing the associated channel. That is nothing but separate channel for audio, separate channel for video should be given, but obviously cost is always associated with that. That should be taken care of, because cost is everything that is making the system whether it is demanding or not. So this is the typical FM sound program terminal block diagram. We know according to the method, this is the program channel input, then it is 15 kilohertz program channel unit, corresponding pre-emphasis, limiter, FM modulator, and then multiplexing and through the modulator and going to the outside. For the video signal also, video in the 6 megahertz video, then it is composite signal. That is, we know the video signal, composite video signal is there, and then FM demodulator, then 50 kilohertz demodulating equipment, program channel to the output. Now the Intelsat TV associated sound program parameters: half transponder operation, top audio baseband frequency, FA is 15 kilohertz, occupied bandwidth corresponding 540 kilohertz, peak deviation from 0 dBm, test tone at 1.42 kilohertz is 90 kilohertz, subcarrier is 6.60 to 6.65 megahertz, subcarrier peak to peak normal level at 114 millivolt, and carrier to noise density ratio of the subcarrier is 74.5 dB in hertz. Now audio signal to noise ratio is 52 dB. Now corresponding TV threshold extension demodulator is there, automatic frequency control is there. This is the normal communication system that can be, that is included over there. We are not going in detail. IF filters and group delay equalizers are there, energy dispersal are there. So these are the references, and we are mainly focusing on references 4. And thank you, and we will meet in future soon. We are ending the session over there.